So let's talk about the emotional milestones. I want to begin by defining the 4 of those for you. We're going to start with the first milestone, which is vocabulary. And vocabulary is simply learning to express whatever it is that we're feeling. And as simple as that sounds, there are so many people in this world who can't do that consistently or successfully. And more than ever, kids are getting stuck in that place. Rarely anymore do I hear kids say, I feel sad. They go straight to saying, I feel depressed. They don't say, I feel worried. They often say, I'm having a panic attack. And some kids are, but many kids are not. When I was growing up, if you felt really frustrated with your parents and you wanted to make sure they knew it, you might say, I'm so mad I'm going to run away from home. And some of us may have packed a bag and made it about a block away before we got really scared and came back home. Honestly, it has been over a decade since I've heard parents report a kid saying that. Now, sadly, what kids say is, I'm going to kill myself. That scary declaration is another reminder of why we want to help kids be able to express accurately what they're experiencing. And the best way to do that is with a feelings chart. I'm going to show you an example, and these are simply expressions with the word underneath. And if you have a toddler who can't even read, we can still start to use this with them. They can look at the faces and expressions and begin to make connections around what these words mean. And this process is no different than if you were to think about a kindergarten classroom. Somewhere in that space, I guarantee you the letters of the alphabet are hanging up. And the reason we put the letters of the alphabet up are because we know as kids are learning the letters, when they can see them visually, it strengthens the connection. And letters are what form words, words form sentences, these basic building blocks of reading. This is the same place. These are the basic foundational building blocks of emotional development. So if I had my way, I would love for every family to have one of these accessible, hanging on the refrigerator, in a rec room, on the kitchen table. And when we're sitting around the dinner table, as we do, checking in on the day, I want you to avoid saying things like, I feel fine, because fine is nowhere on this sheet. In fact, fine is an acronym for feelings in need of expression. In fact, if I had asked an adolescent boy to develop this feelings chart, it probably would have had 3 on it: fine, bored, and annoyed. So with some kids, we're going to have to labor longer in this space to help them develop an accurate emotional vocabulary. From there, we move toward the milestone of perspective. And perspective is a bit like the pain scale at an ER. So if you've been to the ER anytime lately, you know the doctor's going to ask you to identify your pain. And if I can't identify my pain accurately, the doctor can't treat me correctly. So in life, I want to figure out that a 1 event is losing my car keys, a 10 event is losing a family member. And I don't want to slam up against 10 over insignificant events throughout the day. The third milestone is empathy. And empathy is a well-researched foundational ingredient in all healthy interpersonal relationships. So spouse to spouse, parent to child, friend to friend, coworker to coworker, empathy is a game changer. And our kids have the opportunity to flex the muscle of empathy on a daily basis when we're sitting around the table and checking in on our day. And as siblings have the opportunity, or sometimes the frustration, to have to sit and listen to another sibling report, empathy is being built in those moments. It's also a part of the wisdom of Romans 12:15 that says, weep with those who weep, rejoice with those who rejoice. And again, many adults can struggle to do that. The fourth milestone is resourcefulness. And resourcefulness is taking the emotion to something constructive. And this is the place where we probably see the most kids and adolescents get roadblocked. They don't have healthy coping skills in place so that when they hit against different emotions, they know what to do. In fact, if I were going to summarize all 4 of those emotional milestones. If I were going to give you the Cliff Notes version, I would say it's helping the kids we love figure out, what do I feel and what to do with it. And again, that sounds really simple, but we're seeing great evidence of so many people in this world who don't know what they feel and they don't know what to do with it. So I want to give you 3 guiding principles as we think about these emotional milestones. The first is that feelings are just feelings. Many of us grew up being told that there are good feelings like happy and there are bad feelings like sad and angry. And I want you to throw that out. That's not true. It's not helpful. It's not healthy. In fact, it's good to feel sad at times when we're grieving. I lost my mom a few years ago. She was one of the most important people in my world. I felt overwhelming amounts of sadness in the wake of that loss. That's a good and important thing to feel when any of us is grieving. If we don't, we roadblock the grief process. Anger is a good emotion. I don't know about you, but thinking about all the things going on in our world right now, when I watch the news, sometimes I'm full of anger. And I want that anger to move me toward justice and mercy in this world. And it can do that. So the first guiding principle is feelings are just feelings. The second idea is feelings are like children. And that may sound a little strange. I heard this years ago and it made me laugh so hard. Think on that. Feelings are like children. We cannot stuff them in the trunk, but we don't want them driving the car either. Where are kids the safest in a vehicle? Safely fastened in the back seat. They're with us. We're aware of them. We're not pretending like they're not there. They're not stuffed in the trunk, but they're not in charge. I know a lot of grown-ups who have feelings that drive the car all the time. They aren't with them. They're in charge of them. We want to be modeling for kids what it looks like to be aware of them, not pretending they're not there, but not letting them be in control. And the third idea is that practice makes progress. Many of us grew up being told that practice makes what? Perfect. I want you to throw that out as well. It's not helpful, and I don't think it's true. I don't know about you, but there are a lot of things in life that I practice hard at. Not only did I not get perfect, I didn't even get all that great. But everything that I have ever practiced, I at least got a little bit better. So practice makes progress. Let's start there.